guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Alifya and I'm a beginner artist, kind of working specifically to get better at watercolor in general. And so for today's video, I'm actually going to be talking about my experience doing some Skillshare classes to kind of, like I said, get better at doing watercolors. So I did Skillshare for about just under 2 months. So that was 1 month of free membership, and then I paid for another month. And yeah, I mean, in general, it was a very positive experience. Obviously, they have a ton of different teachers on the platform, and yeah, in general, all the classes and teachers that I'm going to be talking about today, I really enjoyed, and so I would recommend checking them out if you are on Skillshare. I'm going to be showing you the different paintings that I made from the Skillshare classes, and like I said, the majority of them are watercolor, but there's a couple of pastel ones in there too, so I'm just going to be talking about them as well since I did take those classes. So yeah, let's just jump into the first of the paintings. So first of all, I took a class that was about watercolor flowers. So here on the right side of my sketchbook, I stuck in one of what I painted into my sketchbook. It's on actual watercolor paper though. And so that was the second one, and this was the first one, painting that was made. I kept this one out of my sketchbook because I did prefer this one, and I do like this one. I think it's cute, so I didn't want to stick it in there, but the other one I was just kind of like, whatever, so I'm just gonna throw it in there. And that has nothing to do with the teacher or the class itself. I just personally didn't like how mine turned out, so that's the only reason why I did that. But yeah, so that first class was taught by Nina. I'm unsure about the pronunciation, so I'm gonna stick that on the screen, and all of the teachers will be in the description box, all of their names and the information where you can find them and things like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this class. It was fun. It was sort of a beginner florals type class. But yeah, this one was a good time. I enjoyed it. For the next class, I was painting some abstract landscapes, sort of. I think that's what they are technically. The teacher was Elliston, I think. And yeah, I really liked his class. It was really cool about working with different colors, and like I love both of these. This one has a lot of different colors that it's working with, but it was just really cool to see how the different colors would mix together. And even here, like, I think in my last video I was talking about how I didn't like watercolor blooms, but it worked for what this was, and I really liked it in this sense. It created sort of a more dynamic landscape, which was really cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed this class. So it was really good. The next class I took was another floral class, and this one was by Tammy Kaye. And so there were actually a few things paintings that I made, because there were a couple of classes that I took. So this was the first one, like I said, florals. So it was just kind of a bouquet of flowers, which I thought was pretty cool, and I really like it. I liked how it turned out. And then in another class I made, I think this is, some watercolor lilac, which was really cool. And then also watercolor lilies. And I don't remember what this flower was supposed to be, but I don't remember what this flower was supposed to be, but still watercolor. And yeah, I think they all turned out really cool, and just like fun and loose watercolors, trying to loosen up, because at this point in time, I was not comfortable painting with watercolor, and I really needed to loosen up. And so it was really helpful to do that and kind of change my mindset when it came to painting with watercolor. Okay, so the next one was an oil pastel class, and this one was taught by Smitha Rao. So yeah, it was an oil pastel lavender field. So honestly, I don't think I did a very good job, but that's okay. I was like, this is the first time I did oil pastels in a really long time. So, I definitely, and I haven't used them since either. So like, I definitely haven't improved by any means. And so yeah, like I said, right now I'm sort of focused on watercolor. I just thought doing oil pastels would be a fun change, but I would like to get to learning about oil pastels a little better at some point, but maybe I'm just trying to focus sort of one medium at a time, unless I feel the urge to change and do something different. But I don't love not painting, but you know what I mean, the art that I made. I don't love it. just how it turned out. Like I said, it was the first time I'd used oil pastels in a while, so not my favorite, but that's okay. That is also why, again, I stuck it into my sketchbook, because that way I could stick it in there and it would have a place without, I don't know, like taking up room elsewhere. And then oil pastels can be a little bit messy, which is the only reason why I have, it's just a piece of a magazine from like years ago that I tore out. And then I use that to stick it in between art pieces that the medium can transfer to the other page. So I just stuck that in there. So yeah. Okay, and so for the next class, I took a watercolor fruit class. These are the paintings. So we have a watercolor pear and a lemon. I guess it's technically this way. Yeah, that makes more sense. And yeah, this class was taught by Earls. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was cool. This one was the first one where it was a class that was about including drawing with ink first, and then, or was it first? I can't remember if the ink was first or last. But either way, you know, like outlining it in ink and then having watercolor. It was the first one that I did that had that. So yeah, that was the first time that that happened. Yeah, and I always, I don't know if you can see it super well, but I always add, I just think it's fun adding splatters to the painting afterward. I really like both of these. I think they're very cute. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a cool class. Okay, and next up, I did a watercolor landscape class by Alifya Tarwala. I really have a trouble with landscapes. I just don't think mine turned out really well. I really did enjoy this class though. I think she did a very, very good job of explaining it. And I do like how it turned out. It definitely wasn't super similar to hers, but that's okay. And obviously like she did a way better job than I did, absolutely. But yeah, it's not too bad. Like for me, the thing is you look at it and you know that it is actually a landscape. So at least I think so. I don't know, you can let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it looks like a landscape when you look at it. So yeah, I enjoyed this class. It was fun. Okay, and the next class was about painting dragonflies or a dragonfly in watercolor, and this class was by Davies. And this one was really cute. It was really cool. It had, like, you can see in the class she had us use salt in certain areas to add some really cool texture to the stalk of the plant. And then, yeah, it had a lot to do with letting the water move and working that to your advantage of how you wanted it to look in the end. And it's really cool seeing even how, I love how the wings turned out, and the wings are, you know, transparent and you can see through them, like just things like that. Like it was really, really cool. And yeah, I really, really like the class, and I really like how my dragonfly turned out. I think it's really cute. Okay, so next class was a class how to paint watercolor mushrooms, and this was taught by Fio Ortecho, I believe. And yeah, it wasn't like a specific, she had her own reference and like a specific one that we were following. It was kind of like, oh, pick whatever reference you want. And so yeah, I just found a reference that I could use. And so yeah, I really like how this one turned out. This one was definitely not, it's not like a loose watercolor, but that's okay. Obviously there's different styles, and I really think it's cute. I really like how it turned out, and I think she did a really good job about showing that to us and whatnot. And yeah, if you've watched some of my other YouTube videos, you might have noticed I also did a YouTube video where I was painting watercolor mushrooms. That was a different painting, but it was after I had done the Skillshare class with Fio, and so that really inspired me to do my own. But yeah, you can check that one out if you're interested. Okay, and the next class, the second to last class that I took, was for soft pastels. Yeah, and so this class was taught by Jekaterina. I'll have her information in the description and on screen. And yeah, it was soft pastels, so not oil pastels, so a little bit different. Very like chalk. Like, yeah, they definitely weren't as good as they could be, but you know, that's okay. I did like spray them with a sealant or whatever, because there was just dust, chalk dust everywhere when I was taking this class. But yeah, there was there were a couple of different landscape. Well, I guess these aren't landscapes. Well, one of them is, whatever. An underwater scene. She had done a mermaid. I didn't really want to do a mermaid. I thought it would be cool to do a turtle. And then another one is just a sunset scene. And so yeah, I think they're both really cool. yeah, it's not that I didn't like using soft pastels. I did. I don't love the mess of all the dust that's created off of it. So that wasn't my favorite thing ever. And then, yeah, even just like, I know you can spray and seal, you know, different paintings in all different mediums, but not my favorite thing to have to do if I can avoid it, which I can with watercolor. At least I can for where I'm at right now, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, it was a cool class regardless, and she was a good teacher for sure. Okay, and then for the last class, it was watercolor for an underwater scene, and they were for bookmarks. So here, I'll bring them up to the camera a little bit so that you can see. So there's, yeah, 2 jellyfish, just a slightly different scene. In this one here, you can see where the light is sort of supposed to be filtering through the surface, and yeah, the seashore. And then here, that isn't so much the case, and this is sort of meant to be seaweed, but I think they're both super, super cute, and it was a super, super cute idea. And I love how the blue is also my favorite color, so I just like love these, and I love the ocean, so it was just like a win-win overall. And I think they're just super, super cute, and yeah, I just love how they turned out. I think they're adorable. So that was a really great way to kind of finish off my Skillshare classes. Yeah, the reason I guess why I've stopped doing them is just lack of time, really. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time moving forward, and I definitely would just want to, if I was going to keep taking Skillshare classes, I definitely would want to make sure that I had time to actually take them. So that was kind of the reasoning behind deciding not to. And obviously you pay month to month, so it was like, you know, ended on 2 months because I would have only been able to take advantage of it for another week or something like that after the fact. So yeah, regardless, I thought Skillshare classes were pretty fun. You know, in general, obviously like YouTube has a lot of classes and tutorials available and things like that. So you can obviously find a ton of things over there. It's not that you necessarily have to take Skillshare classes. Just, yeah, I don't know, I found it cool in the sense that they always, for a certain class, they always have it from very start to finish, meaning that they have all the steps, like beginner steps and techniques that you need to know for, like, before they jump into actually creating whatever painting it is or drawing it is. So whereas in YouTube videos, they usually just focus specifically on what you're making, which isn't a bad thing, obviously. It's just that, especially when you're a beginner, like I am and was, it was just very useful to have those beginner techniques that are being applied in the video and having those at the very, very beginning. And that way you're not sort of wondering and questioning what they're talking about sometimes during the tutorial. Yeah, what techniques they're referring to. But obviously now that I have a bit more experience, I think I'd be more comfortable with just jumping into some tutorials on YouTube. And again, that doesn't mean that all the tutorials on YouTube do that necessarily or are overwhelming. I've definitely taken YouTube tutorials before and I've enjoyed them a lot. So, you know, I'm not trying to say that YouTube tutorials are a bad thing at all. I just wanted to share my experience using Skillshare in case you were ever wondering or you weren't sure if you wanted to take any classes or anything like that. Yeah, so I hope I was able to explain that properly, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the different paintings that I made. I really enjoyed making them. I really, in general, like how they turned out, you know, not everything, but the watercolor ones, at least in general, I did enjoy. So yeah, thanks for watching today's video. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I'll see you all next week. Okay, bye guys.